It's 10 trivia questions on Jason Sudeikis movies. Guess the film from the quick description. This is Trivia with Buds. What it be, and welcome to another episode of the Trivia with Buds podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Buds. Thanks for checking out the show. Continuing Ted Lasso inspired trivia this week to commemorate my adventure of hosting trivia for the cast. If you missed that episode and that story, go to the previous episode where we did some multiple choice trivia on Ted Lasso, and I told the tale of how I got to go to Hollywood and do such a great gig. That was on Monday of this week. Today, Tuesday, we've got Jason Sudeikis movies. I'm going to read a description, and you got to guess the name of the movie. He's been in some classic comedies over the last 15 years, and some of which, when I was researching these, I forgot about. I'm like, oh yeah. And some of which I thought he had a bigger role in, and it was right when he was kind of popping on SNL. And then some movies that I had never heard of from the last couple of years, some dramatic ones. So I'm excited to kind of go back and watch a lot of these movies, the ones that I have not seen, and hopefully you will be too. Before we get to the Jason Sudeikis movie round, we've got a categories game to do. This categories letter is L, and the categories are things that have stripes, celebrities, and languages. Things that have stripes, celebrities, and languages, all starting with the letter L as in love. All right. We've got some other fun episodes coming up this week on UK football. We've got actors' resumes from Ted Lasso, other things they've appeared in TV shows, movies, things like that, and then some extra hard Ted Lasso trivia to close out on Friday of this week. But if you know somebody who loves this show, make sure to share an episode from this week with that person. Say, hey, I listened to this trivia podcast. They're doing a topic that you love, and you should go check it out. I would appreciate that. Also, thank you so much for the Patreon support, patreon.com/trivia with Buds. Been posting some backstage, behind the scenes kind of footage and clips and stories and pictures on the Patreon page all week long for my Hollywood adventure with Ted Lasso. So go check that out, patreon.com/trivia with Buds. You can see those posts at any tier level from $1 and up. It's funny, too, with Patreon. It's always like I would get stuff as a Patreon creator. It's like, this is the kind of stuff fans want to see. Backstage footage. How did you do this thing? How-to videos. And this is one of the first times I feel like I actually have fun backstage footage or special event things. You know, I do a lot of special events, but this one, to me, was one of the most special that I've ever gotten to do. So if you really want to see some cool stuff, like a picture of the pink box of biscuits that Ted makes for Rebecca every day on the Ted Lasso series. Biscuits I actually got to eat with my wife. Go check that out. Patreon.com/trivia with Buds. Okay, I think we're ready. We're warmed up. We're ready to rock and roll. And we're diving into Jason Sudeikis movies right now. Here we go. It's Jason Sudeikis films. Question number 1. Best friends Rick and Fred are in stagnant marriages with their wives Grace and Maggie. Number 1. Best friends Rick and Fred are in stagnant marriages with their wives Grace and Maggie. Number 2, Sudeikis plays Kurt Buckman, an account manager at a company, who answers to a drug-addicted Colin Farrell's character, Bobby Pellet. Number 2, Jason Sudeikis plays Kurt Buckman, an account manager at a company, who answers to a drug-addicted Colin Farrell's character named Bobby Pellet. Number 3, Eric is a 30-something perpetual adolescent who lives to party, holding lavish-themed events with his friends, using his father's large house in the Hamptons. Number 3, Eric is a 30-something perpetual adolescent who lives to party, holding lavish theme events with his friends, using his father's large house. I don't know how big the dad is, in the Hamptons. Number 3. Number 4, Sudeikis plays an avian creature named Red in this phone app game to movie. Number 4, Sudeikis plays an avian creature named Red in this phone app game to movie. Number 5, Zach Galifianakis, Kristen Wiig, Owen Wilson, and Jason Sudeikis star in this comedy robbery caper. The comedy robbery sounded funny. Based on a true story. Zach Galifianakis, Kristen Wiig, Owen Wilson, and Jason Sudeikis star in this comedy robbery caper based on a true story. Number 6, Paul's childhood friend Dave Johnson convinces him to shrink for easier living. Number 6, Paul's childhood friend Dave Johnson convinces him to shrink for easier living. Number 7, released in 2016 with an ensemble cast. This one is named after a holiday. Number 7, released in 2016 with an ensemble cast. This one is named after a holiday. Number 8, the story of runner Jesse Owens, with Sudeikis playing his coach, Larry Snyder. Number 8, the story of runner Jesse Owens, with Sudeikis playing his coach, Larry Snyder. Number 9, Dave devises a foolproof plan. He packs his 18-year-old socially awkward next-door neighbor, a 19-year-old runaway, and his upstairs neighbor, who's a stripper, into a huge RV and heads south of the border. Number 9, Dave devises a foolproof plan. He packs his 18-year-old socially awkward next-door neighbor, a 19-year-old runaway, and his upstairs neighbor, who's a stripper, into a huge RV and heads south of the border. Number 10, Jason Sudeikis plays Nacho Fan, one of the few Tropics season ticket holders. Number 10, Jason Sudeikis plays Nacho Fan, one of the few Tropics season ticket holders. And number 11, along with Gloria's reptilian monster, Oscar also manifested in Soul, but as a giant robot. Number 11, along with Gloria's reptilian monster, Oscar also manifested in Soul, but as a giant robot. Those are all your questions on Jason Sudeikis films. We'll be back with the answers after this. We are back with the answers to Jason Sudeikis films. Guess the film from the description. Let's see if you got all 11 correct. Number 1, best friends Rick and Fred are in stagnant marriages with their wives, Grace and Maggie. That is Hall Pass. Hall Pass. Very funny movie. Laughed a lot in theaters about, 14, 15 years ago, whenever that movie came out. Very funny. Number 2. Sudeikis plays Kurt Buckman, an account manager at a company who answers to a drug-addicted Colin Farrell's character Bobby Pellet. Horrible Bosses. Horrible Bosses. And the sequel, both pretty good. Number 3, Eric is a 30-something perpetual adolescent who lives to party, holding these lavish theme events with his friends, using his father's large house in the Hamptons. A Good Old-Fashioned Orgy is the name of this movie. A Good Old-Fashioned Orgy. Sort of a stretch for a plot. But I'm sure some group of friends has done this at some point. But I remember liking the movie, watching it on, I want to say, DVD when it came out. Number 4, Sudeikis plays an avian creature named Red in this phone app game to movie, Angry Birds. Angry Birds. I think that came out before my kids were watching movies. And I think I missed that one. Number 5, Zach Galifianakis, Kristen Wiig, Owen Wilson, Jason Sudeikis star in this comedy robbery caper about a true story. Masterminds. Not the best movie, but definitely worth watching. Some very funny parts. And I actually got hit up by the marketing team for this movie when I was hosting trivia in LA at the time, maybe 2014 or 15, whenever that came out. And they gave me a bunch of free stuff to give away to promote the movie. We had posters, we had koozies, we had like lanyards and all kinds of stuff. So I remember that month always giving out Masterminds prizes, which was cool. Also got to do that for Office Christmas Party and a few other movies. Number 6, Paul's childhood friend Dave Johnson convinces him to shrink for easier living. That's Downsizing. Downsizing. Number 7, released in 2016 with an ensemble cast. This one's named after a holiday, Mother's Day. Mother's Day. Number 8, the story of runner Jesse Owens, with Sudeikis playing his coach Larry Snyder. Race is the movie, Race. And Jason Sudeikis told a story about the filming of this movie during the Q&A at the panel in LA that I was hosting trivia before. The one I can't stop talking about. And I had never heard of it. I didn't know he was in this movie, and I looked it up for this, and it looks very good. So I got to watch that too. Number 9, Dave devises a foolproof plan. He packs his 18-year-old socially awkward next-door neighbor, a 19-year-old runaway, and a stripper from upstairs in an RV and head south of the border. We're the Millers. A great movie with Jennifer Aniston. Number 10, Jason Sudeikis plays Nacho Fan, one of the few Tropics season ticket holders. Semi-Pro with Will Ferrell and Woody Harrelson. And number 11, along with Gloria's reptilian monster, Oscar, also manifested in Seoul, but as a giant robot. That's called Colossal with Anne Hathaway, and sort of a emotional play on a Godzilla-type movie, which I have never seen. I've seen about half of these movies. I got to see that, and I loved the premise when it came out. I just somehow never saw it. But there you go, Jason Sudeikis movies. Thanks for playing along today. Hope you had a good time. Tomorrow's episode is UK football, so if you like sports, especially over across the pond, you will love that episode. We have the fact of the day for you. Fact of the day is rain contains vitamin B12. So if you ever need some energy, just open your mouth during a storm. Things that start with L that have stripes. I am going to say leggings. Leggings. My wife has a lot of leggings from LuLaRoe, which I don't know if that's still around, but that starts with L too. LuLaRoe leggings, that's 3 L's. 3 points for me. Celebrities, Lyle Lovett. Oh, another double L. Country singer Lyle Lovett. There's 5 points for me. And language is Latin. Look at that. I got 6 points on just 3 questions. I feel pretty good about that. Maybe my best categories performance ever. And there you have it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for telling a friend. And we'll see you next time for more trivia with Buds. Cheers.